Hey, it's Mark, and I'm still going here with the analysis. So I went through my scans, and I found the FNMA, Freddie Mae, and Freddie Mac. They really went today. Like they ran big time, and I posted those on my Twitter account like 3 days ago, or at least 3 days ago. Like it was about $1 a share, and this thing's really went today. But it's more. I looked at those more as just like a barometer for the overall market because I think the market sentiment wasn't super obvious like the first couple weeks of January. But I think if you look at tech, like tech's going to continue to lead, and for the market to go higher, I think tech has to go higher, and it's doing that right now. And Nvidia's leading the AI spend here, and we're starting to find more and more companies are buying their graphics cards. So yeah, this looks pretty bullish. Obviously in the markets, the major indices are continuing, and even the Russell 2000 hit. It's holding support here. Like if you look at the RTY itself, the IWM just hit that support level, and the RTY is holding some levels here too. That blue line was the last major level that it needed to hold to risk breaking down in that channel again. And you look at it's just in a long channel, obviously for almost 2 years now, and that blue line was sort of the last level where it had some support, even though it wasn't that much, but it was support going back here in 2022. And I found that level just from looking at all the way back into January through March of 2022. So that seems to be a level that I was definitely right on that level, because it reclaimed that level. It kind of couldn't figure out what it was going to do there, and then it just went back up again, and held that level. And it was actually the level. It was a recent level too in January, and on January 5th and on January 11th it held that level also. So going back and looking at the long-term chart here was really helpful in finding that level. So that's pretty bullish, that it caught that level, because it was looking pretty bad for a while there. Like we're just going to keep downtrending. So we were in this downtrend right here. You can see with that. I'll just make it like blue. So that was the downtrend we were stuck in. It looked pretty bad. Like the Russell was gonna go all the way back down to 1700s, but it just reclaimed that level. So it's still hanging in there. It doesn't look. It still could catch some momentum. And maybe catch up with the rest of the market, because that was kind of the only sort of lagging index, and a lot of that had to do with the regional banks and stuff, but it seems to be past us at the moment. So the other thing I noticed was of course, Nvidia is like crazy hot still, and a lot of the other tech companies are still running, like the NTNX. Like I don't hear a lot of people talk about this on Twitter, or I don't see it much. This stock, the NTNX. They're more focused on like the more popular ones, but this one has just been on a tear too, and it's had some of the best relative strength out of like any of the stocks, of its size, in the Nasdaq for the past couple of years, or past year. I mean, you can see it. It was started an uptrend back in October and November. A lot of the market was kind of weak on some of these months here, so that one's been super strong too. And I found a supernova. Like I found this one the other day. Like I actually found it on the second day. I think I found it on that day there, and I was like, this one's run before, so I should have really paid more attention to it. But it's gone from like $3 to $7, and just weeks here, a couple weeks. So that may be the top, but we need to see a red day first, of course. Like, let's see what the Bollinger Bands, what we got. So, oh yeah, wow. Yeah, so it went way above the that upper Bollinger Band, but with the gap ups that can happen really easily. So let's see, there might be a red day tomorrow, but or it may just gap up again. You don't know because it's gapped up literally 4 days in a row now. Wait, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 days in a row it's gapped up. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gaps up again. So we'll see what it does then, though. But this could be a good short at some point, or if they have options like puts, because I knew this one. Like I saw it in the scans, and I was like, oh yeah, I know this one. So yeah, it had a big run back in April too. It did the same thing pretty much back in March and April. See, it bottomed out there in March, and then it went from like $2, 250 to 850. So we're almost there again. It may not make it there again because it may not make. Actually, it hit 950 previously there, but it may not get there because everybody started probably thinking the same thing I am. These short sellers. So my hunch is the short sellers are going to be all over this one again once it finally does crack some momentum and like needs a red day. We can see back here, like we can just look and see how it traded the last time. So back here, the top was where it flushed down and had a huge bearish engulfing candle, and then it just went straight down pretty much. So that's kind of nice. Maybe I'll do that again. Like there's the trend line that it broke. So the trend's not, there's not really a trend line now because it's just freaking gap ups like every day, which is like the momentum is actually stronger than it was here because it didn't gap up every day. It consolidated more, and the volume has just been crazy. Like, well, looks like the volume on its biggest volume day there was one of the biggest was 8 million, and it traded 12 million shares towards the top of that. So we traded 38 million shares, 38 million shares, which is like 3 times more than the last run. So that's kind of what's going on here. And we traded 27 million shares. So what looks like is probably happening here is the algos and the program traders and the quants are all just kind of teaming up here, and because when you see volume come in like that to a small cap stock or like a stock like this, there's usually some the algos are just cooking this thing like so. Yeah, see how it just drops off a cliff sometimes during the day. So what they do is they get people in, and then they try to break it out there, and then slam down, and they get people to panic sell, and then they get the stop losses, and then the algos accumulate more, and then it slams down, the algos accumulate. But I mean, it's not different. They're kind of like bull flags, but when these algos take over, they get these really crazy candles like that one there, where it just went down from 477 to 433. But it's not really, I've seen crazier, like, but yeah, these kind of long candles look like the algos. Like, see that flush there? Like, it just totally flushed out there. And then there was a bull trap. See that people bought the breakout there, and then they flushed it because it was going to break out, and then they just accumulated more. So that's what they do. Like, this accumulates more on these flushes. It's just like probably an algo. I mean, I think it's an algo just based on how many shares it traded a day. So, but yeah, it looks pretty familiar. These huge red candles. So yeah, you can see here this day was crazy too. Like it would spike. Like this day is crazy. It spiked up to 396 and then crashed down in 2 minutes to the lows, and then there's just a lot of these spikes. So, but anyway, so I think this one's going to be a good short once the algos stop. So once the algos stop, then the short sellers are going to come in at some point. I mean, it may go to $10 first. I mean, I don't know. Like we got to wait for it to show weakness first, but it could be tomorrow or it could be the next day. We just have to wait for some selling pressure because the selling volume is going to be key. If there's not a lot of selling volume, it's probably not a top, and that's one way to read these smaller supernovas. So yeah, there's a lot of tech stocks going up. Like I did a post on the bug, the ETF, I saw like a news flash about like that Microsoft was hacked by like some Russian hackers, and so like I think all these security stocks might be up even more off of that. Like see the cybersecurity ETF bug just broke out to a new high just today, and it tends to run once it breaks out. So like you can see that major breakout there, it just kept running and running. That's a level there that I found, and yeah, it's off the races on this one now. It looks like. And if tech continues, like look in the NASDAQ here, it's been pretty steady here. Like you can see once it got above the upper Bollinger Band for a while there, it had a pullback. But it looks like it might just ride the upper Bollinger Band some more if the momentum continues, and it can do that. So, but the Bollinger Bands are better for those supernovas, but yeah, it's a lot of momentum still going, and I'm trying to cover everything I've been looking at. Like the RGTI was really nice. I am long this one with calls. Like I bought some more calls when it was like 98 cents or so. But once it broke that flag, the setup's good. So it looks like it's going to go back to like 124, 123. But I think it's going to go even higher eventually. But I'm just kind of bullish on that one long term. And I think that's about it that I noticed. Like oil's been pretty much sideways. It's like I'm not really interested in trading it when it's sideways like this. And I'm just gonna see if one more watch list. The Bitcoin ones are falling off still. Like I still have puts on some of these, like BITF. It was the one. Yeah, there's so many of them. I lose track of them sometimes. BITQ. Yeah, the BITF. I had puts on that one. I'm gonna close them out because I closed out all the monthlies like last week because of the 19th, but yeah, I think these are still gonna come down. Like some of these are on support levels though, like CIFR and the charging stocks are at like some support levels too. A lot of them. So let me pull those up. So yeah, they're kind of around support where they could, if it breaks that down channel, they could catch some momentum and move higher. Looks like EVgo is trying to hit that level, but it's failing. And the BLNK, it's holding that level still, so I'm not interested in shorting these if they're going to hold levels. Except maybe the EVgo might be a short if it fails that because it couldn't take out the 289. So that was the level, about 290. If it gets over 290, then that's not really much of a short setup. But if it breaks down tomorrow, you know, it could be that might be a good short setup. I might put more puts on again. And yeah, Tesla. I found that I did a whole video on Tesla because I found, well, somebody requested it, but I found the levels to look at here, like these channel levels, just look really clear, and it says that it's going to come down to like 170. So I really think it's very likely to come down to 170 unless they have some kind of surprise announcement or earnings guidance at the next quarter. The earnings reports on Wednesday. So this Wednesday after close is the big quarterly earnings report. So if there's nothing that boosts the stock out of this down channel, like if the stock pops to like, you know, 220s or if it goes above this down channel line here, then, you know, anything could happen. Like it could go a lot higher. But if it keeps going down after that earnings report, like the next day, then the market reaction is going to be still negative on it. So I think it'll hit like 170 area. So I was looking at puts on that one actually. Like, yeah, I was thinking maybe even if like we get like a big move up the next couple days before the next day before the earnings, like, because it's better to buy the puts when the stock's positive on the day. So I don't know. That'd be kind of like a gamble because it's not my favorite setup, like breakdowns right now, but it hasn't had the relative strength the past week or two, so could be a good setup, you know, if it does keep breaking down. And the NIA is still in that channel, and Lee's still weak in the channel. They're all following channels really well, like Tesla, NIO, and Lee, and even Rivian. The Rivian came up to a major level. It's trying to test here, that level there, about in 15s. So we'll see what it does there. If it breaks down, it's probably just going to follow NIO. I mean, NIO may be kind of setting the pace for some of these, you know, EVs. So that could be a short setup if it breaks below that level. But right now it's not really. It's just, it looks like could possibly bounce. So we'll have to see. And bonds are just kind of still going down here. So yeah, let's call it a wrap there because it's probably already been a while in this video. So I'll do another one as soon as I can. Probably tomorrow. I'll try to do one earlier. And then I don't think did I talk about the rewalk? Yeah, I put a Twitter alert on this one, this rewalk. I've always liked the fundamentals on this one in the last year or two, and it broke out of a channel just recently, and it's coming back down. It looks like it might test. Looks like it's gonna test that level if it doesn't break out beforehand. So I'm looking for like a 186, 185 test and see if it'll hold. And when I look at the volume here, the sell volume is perfectly downtrending. So that to me just tells you that it's a bull flag, and it's going to eventually pop higher. So that's kind of this is the telltale right there, that volume. And I expect it, if it goes over 101 tomorrow, it could run again, and think can run. So I'm bullish on this one. I'll be looking at options tomorrow if it pops over 101, but it needs to break over the previous day's high. So the high today was like about close to 1. So, and the 1's a level, so it's actually a level right there. So because it held it 2 times there, and actually pretty much there too. So So yeah, let's see if it hits 101, 102 tomorrow. I think it'd go. So run higher. That's probably one of my more favorite setups right now. So yeah, that's it, and I'll catch you later.